no social media, no Goodreads, no YouTube, no looking up books at all, how would you find 5-star reads? Well, I went to the library and asked the librarian to blind pull 2 books, and my only requirements were middle grade, fantasy, and not too long. So our local children's librarian is great. Like, she is into books, she loves books, she studies books, she's keeping up with all the new books, has read all the great old books. So when I asked her for this, it took her about 2 blinks before she was like, I know exactly which books to pull. It was that quick. I expected more questions, more fielding, and I was willing to accept most things as long as they weren't part of a series or too long. And she chose The Little Prince and Wishtree. So the first book that the librarian chose for me is Wishtree. Now, this is a really cute middle grade book, and it's from the point of view of an old, wise oak tree named Red. She is in the middle of a neighborhood, and she sits between these 2 rented plots. We get to briefly explore the traditions of a wish tree, specifically from the Irish culture in the book, so that's really neat. And then Red, the big tree, watches over one of her tenants, a teenager named Samar, who just moved in. And she is having a little bit of trouble. She's feeling lonely and isolated, and there's a little bit of bullying going on. And so she puts a wish on the tree for a friend. So Red decides she's going to grant this wish and actually intervene in human affairs. So the author of Wishtree is Catherine Applegate, and she, when I was younger, I knew all about the Animorph series. That's what was popular, but now it's things like The One and Only Ivan, which she won the Newbery Medal for. So the second librarian pick was The Little Prince. It's a classic. So it was written in 1942, and it is about a little boy who lives on a very small planet. He goes off to explore, and he ends up landing on Earth and finding a pilot who has crashed in the middle of the Sahara Desert. And then they start talking and learning about each other, and it's basically a story with short little fables. So each little planet that the little prince stopped on to explore is a different type of personality or moral, and he explores it through the eyes of a child. Okay, so in 2019 in Dublin, they actually did a retroactive Hugo Award for the 1944 Hugo Award for The Little Prince. It actually won Best Novella, so that's pretty cool. It was a retro reward because the Hugo Awards didn't start being given out until 1953. I enjoyed both of these books. I thought they were great, and I gave them both 5 stars on Goodreads because they were that good. And if you like seeing blind pulls from librarians, let me know below, because I'm thinking of going to the other libraries around here and asking their children's librarian, or even the regular librarian, what they would choose and blind pull for a middle grade fantasy book. because it just interests me so much to see different people's opinions. And hey, they might even pull the same book, but wouldn't that be interesting?